And well, OBS seems to be working, but for some reason YouTube is not going to cooperate as usual. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Betcha that may have been the problem. Okay, still got the gecko, and can everybody see me? Is the other thing I'm trying to figure out. Okay, that's weird. That. No, that's where it is. Okay. Okay, is that any better? Okay, hopefully either that or I just muted my much. Okay, oh well, we will deal with it. I'll try to mute that, and I'm trying to use this OBS thing, and haven't quite gotten it figured out yet. So I thought I had it down, and at least I got it to the point that we're streaming. But yeah, I think you guys know this has kind of been a struggle for me. So learning how to do this thing. Anyway, so I imagine, and I know just by seeing some of the seeing who has made it in here. Dave R's Guitars, RJ the Mad One. I didn't think you were going to make it this morning. RJ? Pardon me. Guitar TV, Jimmy T. Anybody else that I've forgotten? I think that's all we got so far. Anyway, but I know at least most of you saw my video yesterday. And of course, it was, for all intents and purposes, was my rant on the new copyright laws that have gone into effect. And I have, since I recorded and posted that video, I've kind of had to, some time, read some comments from a number of people, watched a few other videos, and, the truth is, Pete Thorne probably had the best solution, as much as I don't like it. And, he said in his video, when he was talking about it, was that, really the best solution is, be more original and, start doing this thing with original music as opposed to using covers. And he's right. We'll get rid of the problem. The reason why I don't want, why I'm reluctant to do so is, quite frankly, because I'm not a very creative person. And not being a creative person, particularly as it comes to music, I don't, when it comes to writing music, anything, I hate the creative writing process altogether. I absolutely hate it. I always have. Kind of makes me want to claw my eyes out, which is why, which is why I'm reluctant to do so. But at the same time, Pete Thorne's right. So, now also, Dave, Dave R. and I commented back and forth a few times last night, and kind of helped me put a few things into perspective. And, I still kind of feel the way that I do, but need a moderator, Dave says. Alrighty. Dave R's Guitars is now moderating. So, exactly. So, I don't know. I guess it's one of those things where you're going to have to learn how to do it, learn how to get better at it, learn how to suck it up and deal with it. Pardon me. I was sneezing really, really badly before I came up here. And not really badly, but bad enough. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of reluctant. To dive into that world. It's my perspective. It's just that much more work that I got to put into making videos. But But I suppose if that's as bad as my life gets, then what do you do, right? So, there is a lot. There seems to be quite a few different opinions going on, and a lot of different experiences. I don't know if you guys saw Rick Beato's video the other day, but he's of course he gets hammered with copyright stuff all the time, and a channel that big, I can see. He's always he has a video series, what makes a song great, and he takes a well-known song and picks it apart, in all the individual instruments and what it is that as the series, the name of the series implies, what it is that makes that song great. And I don't watch all of them, but there's been a few of them that have caught my attention. Like he did, I think he did Man in the Box, Malice in Chains. He did was it Shepherd of Fire? I think it was Shepherd of Fire from Avenged Sevenfold, stuff like that. That I've watched, and they're actually really, really good videos. Of course, everything Rick does is usually a good video, even though I don't agree with him all the time. But he puts up great content, and he said there's some bands that he just can't even touch, such as he mentioned Queen specifically. He gets a lot of requests to do Queen. To do something, I think to do a Queen song in that series, and unfortunately, he can't do it. because they will not only demonetize. Well, they don't demonetize the video. They just have it removed. They just take it down altogether, and it's not good for anybody. So they take it down altogether, and so obviously he can't do it. Ironically, one thing that he pardon me, man. I'm going to sip of coffee before I finish that thought. Anyway, ironically, one thing that he did say that that is a totally, completely different experience for me is he said the Metallica are very good about leaving, about not doing that and leaving people alone. So, based on my video, which you guys heard me say in my video yesterday, was quite the opposite. And, of course, I would be a lot more upset about that if I didn't love Metallica as much as I do. So, yeah, so, I don't know, I'm kind of, I don't know. Maybe they just leave him alone because he's Rick Beato, because he's been in the industry forever, and and the dude knows everybody. So I got to assume that's got something to do with it. But because they didn't leave me alone, or at least EMI didn't. So, but at the end of the day, I've always stood up for Lars. And, with the whole Napster thing, and, because I've always said, if it wasn't, Metallica and it wasn't Lars Ulrich and that whole thing, it would have been somebody else. And absolutely would have been somebody else. But, what do we do? Let's see. Hey, Park Kingery's with us, as is Wally in the Box. What's up, fellas? Park actually sent me some photos of a new project that he's working on here at the moment that looks really, really cool. So hopefully you guys will get we'll get to let the cat out of the bag on that here soon. I don't want to do that without him telling me. But Park Kingery, by the way, is the man, the myth, legend behind Park's Custom Pedals, who I've done a couple demos for here recently. You guys actually really seem to like those demos that I did. One was the most recent one was Soul Stealer, which was the HM2 clone, and that one actually surprised me. Because the HM2, I know it's a big deal right now, particularly in the death metal genres, but I mean, for any kind of practical, other than death metal, for any other kind of like normal purposes. Sorry, HM2. As much as I love boss pedals, man, that HM2 is unusual. So, the other one was the Russian Spud. It was a fuzz pedal, obviously, that surprised me. So, yeah. Guitar TV says people can start doing lessons in the style of using stylistic elements instead of actual riffs. Yeah, and that may be what it comes down to. I don't know. Pete made a real good point in that all of these actually, sorry about this, guys. RJ just commented, says sounds almost like I have two mics on, it's causing the echo. Maybe not. There is some kind of a delay between OBS seems to be right where it's supposed to be. So OBS is doing what it's supposed to be doing. actually, the live stream that is on my YouTube screen, on the other hand, is actually behind by several. Well, it's coming and going. It's kind of coming and going depending on. When I first started, it was behind by probably 30 seconds, and with the CMI thing, there's an audio output capture and an audio input capture, and I have muted the audio input capture, and I'm just working on the audio output capture. So you have when I flip those around. Desktop audio, that has something to do with it. Mic auxiliary. That help? Let me shut that one off too. Alrighty. I think we may have fixed it, fellas. Alrighty. Cool. There we go. Okay. This OMS thing, or OBS rather. OMS is our internal system at work. Why they keep... why we can't just, do this all in one program. We got to use two of them. I don't know. I don't make the rules. Let's see. We got a few other people have jumped in here. Hey, my friends at Picker's Grip have joined us. What's up, buddy? How are you? Let's see. Rockin' Dave Byron has made it. Joined the soiree, if you will. Jimmy Bitre, I don't B-I-T-R-E. I don't know how to. I'm just gonna refer to you as Jimmy. Welcome to you. And I thought there was one more up here that I saw that I missed. Maybe not. Okay. Let's see. And Picker's Grip says, my first live YouTube chat. Woo! So, yeah. So, Picking on Bones won't extract all the money they can gather. YouTube is complying so they won't get sued, is my guess. No, actually, I don't think... YouTube doesn't... this isn't on them. None of this copyright stuff is on them. I mean, it is absolutely not in their best interest at all for videos to be taken down. Especially monetized videos, because they want to... they want more content up for people to watch. And, for viewers to watch specifically. And if there is more content for viewers to watch, that is more opportunity for them to put ads in front of those viewers and maintain, the more that they can, this kind of goes back to their whole algorithm thing that they changed last year. And that I do put on them because that has also hurt a lot of creators, including myself. But regardless, they want to, they want content to be able to advertise on, to be able to sell advertising on. And in doing so, when those videos get taken down, that's that much content that they no longer have the opportunity to do that with. So, I suppose it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt them, especially with all the content that's out there nowadays. But, it certainly isn't adding anything new. So, sorry, I got an alert on my phone this morning. that Glenn Fricker had put up a new video, and this particular video, I don't have the title in front of me, is pardon me. This particular video is about Glenn Fricker's top 10 free plugins for metal. So me just entering the studio world, you know, I obviously have an interest. So I had, you know, I was watching this video, and sure enough, there's this guitar player in there. You know, and he has all kinds of guitar players that are, you know, that he brings in, and I don't know how he got this particular guy because he's a friend of mine, and it is a young man by the name of John Suki, and John currently plays with, you know, his main gig is he's one of the guitar players in the Chase Rice band. You know, Chase Rice is a country artist out of Nashville. John is, of course, John can play literally anything. I'm pretty sure he could snap off a tree branch, string it up, and you know he can make it sound good. I mean, he's a very, very, very talented guitar player. But you know, all of a sudden, I looked at, you know, watching this video, and there's John playing guitar, and I'm, you know, so I commented on, at least I thought it was him. I wasn't sure at first, so I commented on Glenn's. I commented on Glenn's video to ask if that's who it was, and he said yes. So I shared it on Facebook and tagged John in the post, and you know, as I've known John for, you know, probably, you know, close to 15 years now, and you know, he was a teenager when I was the manager of Guitar Center, and he would come in every weekend, just about every weekend anyway, and he'd, you know, pluck a guitar off the wall, whatever he was in the mood for, and plug it into whatever amp he saw, and you know, sometimes he had another buddy of his with him that was just about as good as he is, and you know, they'd start playing, and it wouldn't be too long before, especially if it was a Saturday afternoon and there's a lot of people in the store, you know, everybody would drop and, you know, come from all over the store, just kind of gather around to watch him, you know, watch him do his thing. And I mean, he's a really, really special guitar player, and just, God, and the nicest guy, you know, the nicest guy in the world. You know, he'll as talented as he is, you know, I mean, you'll never get him to admit it, of course, but seriously, one of the best guitar players that I know. And you know, I thought it was really, really cool to see him in Glenn Fricker's video. So let me see. Somebody remind me when I'm done, and pardon me, and I'll make sure and post the link to that in the down in the description of this video, so when it posts, if you guys haven't checked it out already. Plus, it's also pretty informative. It's an informative video, you know, regarding plugins if you have an interest in that stuff. But it's also worth it just to see John play. So I do highly recommend it for that. Anyway, but I just got an alert on my phone, and you know, John apparently has already seen the video, and he commented on my comment on the video. So let's see. Let me back up here in the chat a little bit and get caught up on a few comments here. Let's see. Picker's Grip says, I think the music biz and picking up bones and want to extract all the money they can gather. YouTube's complying so they won't get sued. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're under a fair amount of legal obligation to, you know, to have to do that as well. But, you know, I mean, like I said, this hurts them. And, you know, the thought that I started earlier that I didn't get to finish, you know, Pete's is what Pete said, you know, because of what I just explained about how this is not, you know, this isn't on them, you know, they've got to be looking into it pretty closely, because I mean, this is a pretty hot topic, and you know, if I mean, it's a hot topic, of course, in our genre and our industry, but you know, one industry that is huge on YouTube, or at least was at one time, is gaming. And you know, all of those gaming channels, and there's a lot of them, and a lot of big ones, that all of a sudden they can't stream, you know, their you know, they can't stream their, you know, their content because they're streaming copyrighted video games. Essentially is what that is. So I mean, that's gonna be hurting a lot of people, and so like I said, it's not on YouTube and Twitch. Is it Twitch? Is that what it is? The the other one that the gamers are real big on. I know those are it would be the same problem there. So just different platforms are not going to have different laws to abide by. It's an industry mage. Give me a moment here, folks. I'm just catching up on the comments here. Is that the best industry made mistake? Rick Beato brought up some really good points in that he said Tool not he was praising Tool because he said not only do they not take down videos that feature their content, but they will actually promote it and post it on their own website. So they've kind of embraced their own fan base, so to speak. They've embraced their own. They've embraced it. More than anything. Probably more than anybody else. And I'm not a huge fan of that band, but I think it is definitely interesting and worth noting that they have taken the tack that they have. So they're also I think they're also they're one band that I have never been able to find on iTunes, or I don't know where I can buy their records. I haven't gone to their website and tried to download them directly yet, because there's what was that one from the 90s? I can't remember the name of the album, but the one with Sober on it. I've been looking for that one here lately because just because it's a great record, honestly, and there's a couple things on it that I would like to listen to and I would like to learn. I mean, you can't find it anywhere. At least I haven't been able to. So, Picker's Grip says, I just uploaded a vid of my friend singing Whiter Shade of Pale. I have in the title, it's a cover. My channel is not monetized. So will I get in trouble now, or will they? No. If your video is not monetized, or if your channel's not monetized, there's nothing to worry about. So that's this whole thing is about is money. The whole thing is about is money. And once the internet hit, the record labels, all of a sudden everybody quit buying physical CDs. Or cassettes or records or whatever it is. And I'm not talking about the recent resurgence of popularity of vinyl, but people quit buying the actual physical copies in favor of downloading the digital stuff. For obviously for convenience, and we all know why. It's just the way that that it's just technology evolving. But in doing so, that began to hurt the record labels, and they've never quite recovered from it. And there's more artists that are producing themselves. There's more artists producing themselves now than there ever have been. And kind of eliminating the middleman, so to speak. And there's so many tools out there that nowadays that really, I mean, anybody can do it. Anybody can make their own record. I could begin, making my own record sitting where I am right now on this computer. Here, I'll show you. And this is part of this is me showing off what I have learned how to do in OBS. Let's see. Because if I disable that and enable that, theoretically, there we go. Now, you guys should be looking at my computer screen. But I can go there, And go there. And go there, theoretically. Here we go. Here's something I'm working on right now. And admittedly, this is kind of a cover kind of thing of sorts, but yeah, let's see. Check this out. Yeah. See what I mean? So, the point I'm trying to make is, if you've ever heard me play drums, I sound like a 4-year-old banging on a bunch of trash can lids. I can't play drums. Certainly not like that. Anybody can make music, with the tools that are available today. And really, YouTube is kind of a similar parallel because, here I am, a guy like me, just a regular guy that loves guitar gear. All of a sudden, and not that it didn't take some work, of course it did, but, here I am, working at 3 years in, I've got 11,000 subscribers on this channel. So, So I mean, it's pretty amazing. But in doing so, the money didn't leave the music industry. As Rob Chapman talked about here a few months ago, but it moved. It shifted over to away from the record labels to basically to give back to the musicians. So and the artists is what happened. So give me a moment here. I'm gonna get caught up on some of these comments. Let's see. I just uploaded. Watch this video. I'm downloading some of the plugins now. Yep. Oh, hey, Black XLC is with us here. What's up, buddy? Welcome to you. Yeah. I watched that video just to check out some of the plugins that Glenn was talking about. He did another video a few weeks ago about the Ignite Emissary, I think it is. So I downloaded that one, and also the Pulse cabinet that he talked about in that one and this video today. And I downloaded both of them, and I can get the it's weird because I can get the Pulse cab to work in Pro Tools, but not the Ignite Emissary, and then I can get the Ignite Emissary to work in Studio One, but I can't get the Pulse cabinet to work in Pro Tools. So who knows? I'm getting older. This technology thing's getting away from me. Pardon me, guys. Sorry, I'm clearing my throat and into the microphone so much today. As far as covering it, if you get any against your videos, beware scammers calling and claiming they represent the owners of the materials. I haven't got any phone calls. I don't know that I have my phone number posted anywhere within my YouTube account info anywhere. I haven't given my phone number out anywhere, so I haven't given it out to anybody, at least that didn't need it. And I'm not even sure that they have my address. yeah, so I mean, really about the only info that they have for me is they've got my, of course, my name and email address. They can contact me that way, and the, of course, they've got my deposit information. But let's see, if you get any. Yeah, no. When anybody calls me, I don't. I don't have, serious, debt. And I certainly don't have delinquent debt. So anybody calling me looking for money, it's, I know immediately it's a scam. Ooh, pickers grits from clean carpets all day. That's no fun. Hey, Mike Reck is with us. Welcome to you. Are you guys able to hear me okay? I'm listening to my headphones and everything seems to be coming through. Stephen Doherty has joined us. Copyright of the Kazoo? Yes, unfortunately, they did. And that's probably the one that set me off the most because it was the minute and a half or whatever it was of a Metallica song at the end of that video that they got it flagged. But the other 7 songs by the other 7 artists were fine. Nobody, that didn't seem to bother anybody. But and like I said, I wasn't pointing the finger at Metallica with that one as much as it was the label. There's a lot of legal ins and outs and all kinds of crazy, I mean, there's a lot of details. Dave was sharing a small fraction with me in the comments yesterday. And honestly, it was so full of legal jargon that, I mean, I can't understand most of it. But Hadley Scott McIntyre is with us. I can't believe you guys are having trouble hearing me. Is that any better? Dave R's Guitars. I see you guys are talking amongst yourself. The recording industry has really killed themselves. Their greed has turned against them. I absolutely agree. Let's see. Stephen Doherty says the Coldplay Satriani thing was the last straw for me. I'm not familiar with that. Did they cover a Satriani tune? And get hit for it? Okay, good audio here. Yeah, I hear you just fine. Okay, sounds clear. All right, I'm not gonna mess with it. In return for your own work. Playing covers, even riffs, and just do our own thing. We just might be the ones who inspire the next generation. YouTube. Let me reread this comment again because it's interesting. Interesting perspective. Rockin' Dave Byron. These comments are all up in the top chat, by the way. Says for you YouTubers, this might sound crazy, but if we all just completely stop playing covers, even riffs, and just do our own thing, we just might be the ones who inspire the next generation. And that's an interesting perspective, because like I was just talking about, here I am just, a regular guy that loves guitar gear, and that's it. A regular guy that loves guitar gear, and all of a sudden I got 11,000 subscribers. Not all of a sudden, but that's what I have, and I'm not even the best example of that. There's lots of people in lots of different genres. I have a friend. I should call her a friend, but I've an acquaintance anyway, named Kim Iverson, and she has an interest in politics. And I think I've talked about this on the live show before, but she just started her YouTube channel. Well, let me back up a little bit, and I'll share a little bit about what happened. She was working, I think, in marketing or something for a startup company. She's out in California, and she, one of the primary investors in the startup backed out, and the whole thing folded before it ever got off the ground. So, she was sitting there unemployed, and she had to do something. So she, kind of like Ryan Bruce, she kind of didn't have much choice but to get busy with YouTube and trying to start building her audience. And I'm a little jealous because all she did was post videos and about politics, and I'm not going to get into which direction she's leaning, because like I said, I want to keep politics away from my channel, but her audience anyway, got built up pretty quick, and she started 2 months ago. Maybe 3, maybe. I think it's, probably closer to 2. And, she's at 40,000 subscribers already. So, in her defense, she's, she has broadcast experience, so she's very well spoken. She presents herself well. She's, she researches very heavily what she's talking about before she talks about it. She's a really, really strong resource regarding that stuff. But, so, I mean, I don't want to say that she didn't earn it, but, her audience built quick. So, and this was, a young lady that was that was a marketing, that was good, that was doing marketing for a small startup company just a few months ago. So we chatted over Facebook one night a couple of months ago, or like right after she was getting started, and it was already starting to blow up on her then. She was, 1,500, 2,000 subscribers at that time, so she was asking me a few things, and, I was kind of giving her some tips as best I could. Her genre's a little different than mine, obviously. But, she's doing real well, and there's, that's a common story with YouTube. There's a lot of people that, they have success pretty quick. So, a lot of that, I think, also might have to do with the genre. Music genre, especially, on YouTube, is not one of the bigger ones. So, it doesn't seem that way for those of us that are in it, and for people like me that, you look up to, other channels like, the Jared Dineses and the Glenn Frickers and, the Rick Beatos and the Paul Davids and, those guys that are all, Stevie T, those channels that all got million subscribers or more, or close to it anyway. Seems like there's quite a bit, but, some of those other bigger political channels and stuff, probably got tens of millions. Anyway. So, but back to Dave's point, given that platforms like YouTube have given so many people not only a voice, but a means to communicate with their audience directly, that is why I find that point interesting. So, he's absolutely right. I don't think, when YouTube started, maybe even 10, I think YouTube started in 2003, and maybe even 10 years ago. I don't know if anybody knew that it was going to be as big as it is now. When I first started 3 years ago, 3.5, I remember reading somewhere, because I was, reading up on it, learning how to do it, and, see what it was about, what is this going to be worth my time, that kind of stuff. But I remember reading somewhere, and this has always stuck with me, that YouTube is the second largest search engine on the internet. The first, obviously, being Google, and Google owns YouTube. So that's probably what sold me on deciding to do this. But we also do, at least I do it. Yes, I'm trying to, make part of my living doing this. Because I sell guitars and guitar gear for a living. So yeah, this is part of my living. A small part of it, but part of it nonetheless. But more importantly than that, I enjoy it. So, Janice Lala is in the chat as well. I saw you in here earlier, but didn't see anything from you for a while, and it may have been while I was experiencing technical difficulties at the beginning, as most of my live streams seem to do. Technical difficulties in the beginning. So, yeah, she says she got 2 copyright claims. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that. Let's see. Coldplay's Viva La Vida. And the Satriani song, If I Could Fly. Coldplay's paid Sach and out of court settlement. Oh, well, that's plagiarism, though. Which, yes, I mean, is part of the copyright laws, but, that's kind of like the second thing that Paul Davids was talking about in his video. He spent most of the video talking about, the copyright strikes against videos he's had up for 5 years, et cetera, where he was, like they're instructional videos. He was analyzing a part of a particular well-known song, and apparently that artist has a copyright claim on the D sus2 chord, and whatever lawyer or whatever judge signed off on that, being part of the law, drives me nuts. But at any rate, anyway, he spent the first part of his video talking about that. The second part of his video, he was talking about an original piece of music that he had written, and I think I can't remember if he had it up in a video on YouTube, or it was out there. It was just the audio that was out there. But regardless, somebody got a hold of it and basically rewrote the lyrics, and the process. They stole everything. Basically they stole everything else from him. So, that was, this thing with Coldplay and Sach is probably a little more in line with that. Dave's absolutely right. Plagiarism is a whole different can of worms. So, let's see. Hadley Scott, just Inbane Official has joined us. Welcome to you. Anybody put fender tuners on a Schecter neck? I don't see any problem. I don't think you see anything wrong with that. You know, most of I suppose it would also depend on which tuner you're talking about. You know, what Schecter guitar you're wanting to put them on. But the thing with Schecter or with tuners, I think most of their hardware is made by Schaller, and it's good stuff. You know, it's real good stuff. With Fender, I like their vintage style tuners. The ones that have, they got like, I don't even know how to describe them. They got, the small little chrome buttons and, kind of the real thin post that they're sitting on. I like those tuners quite a bit. They actually hold tune really, really well. But yeah, if they'll fit, why not? The only thing though, I mean, Fenders. The only thing that would make me hesitant would be the aesthetics of how it would look. With those particular tuners, anyway. Fenders being obviously a vintage traditional style looking instrument. Schecters are much more modern looking. So unless it's going on, like a Sun Valley Shredder or something like that. Grover Schecter tends to use Grover tuners a lot of times, at least on. I think they put Grovers on most of their guitars that are like over like $600 or something. I can't recall exactly. But yeah, I wouldn't. If tuning stability is your main concern anyway, I wouldn't be concerned about that at all. So, yeah, Fender tuners are good stuff. I've actually got a set of the locking. I've got a Squire Special Edition Telly, and honestly, I never play it, but I put noiseless, Fender noiseless pickups in that thing, and also upgraded the tuners to. And now, it's been so long, and I never play it, so I'm not sure. But because I'm not a Telly guy, but they're it was either Fender Schaller locking tuners. They might have been Spurzells, but I think they were the Fender Schaller locking tuners. So, oh, man, I hope I'm not coming down with something. Yeah, that's what it was. Paul created back, Stephen Pitt. Welcome to you, by the way, Stephen. But Stephen Pitt says Paul created a backing track in early days, 4-chord guitar track for beginners. It was used by an Asian band. He created a video about it. Yeah, that's right. So he packed a lot of information into that video. So, and I was actually pulled over in a parking lot when I watched it. So I should probably go back and watch again just to get some more of the details. They're two pin like the Schecter neck. Yeah, I mean most tuners are gonna fit. You might have to widen the hole a little bit with a reamer, but yeah, it's the staggered locking tuners that I have on that guitar. So they. Like I said, even though it's on a guitar that I never play, the rare occasion that I do pull it down off the wall, they do hold too. I may have to throw you guys for a loop, and next time I do a demo on like a metal distortion pedal, I'm gonna do it with that guitar. Just warning you, the pins are all like before I start. needs a string change now, so what better time? I agree. Park says I'll have a metal pedal on my way soon. I already know what that is. I'm still not letting the cat out of the bag. If you want to, you can comment. You can type it yourself, but I'm not gonna let anybody know about what that one is. At least until it's time. Screw type, no pins. But the original Schecter had the 2-pin. Janice says, okay, I got notifications piling up. As in copyright notifications? Bye for now. Oh, as in notifications she has to attend to. Awesome. Well, Janice, thank you very much for joining us. Oh, let's see what we got. Nobody in the super chat today. Joseph Denani has joined us here. Welcome to you. Horns up, finally caught you. Yep, especially last week was kind of I had a few technical difficulties today, but nothing like I did last week. So, yeah. So what do you guys think of this? I'm surprised nobody's commented on the Papa joke that's on the screen. I got a buddy of mine at work that loves. There's 2 types of jokes that he loves. He loves Papa jokes, and and of course he loves just the most raunchiest, inappropriate things that like you got to be a sick-minded individual to come up with these things. But the joke that's on the screen says, if you guys can't read it, it says 2 goldfish were sitting in a tank together. First goldfish looks at the other and says, "You know how to drive this thing?" And the first time that I heard that, I was dying laughing. I still think it's hilarious. Creator strike for copyright. Nah, there's no. So that's a great idea in theory, but there's far too many people that are earning their entire living on YouTube. Record labels claiming copyrights are paying anything to the artists. I don't know how that works. I mean, Dave would probably know more about that than I would. I mean, I got to assume there's, some royalties involved there. That are contractually obligated, but again, I'm sure it's minimal. Hey, David Gabe's here. I was wondering if you'd pop in this morning, Dave, or I guess it's afternoon, but you guys hear about that? I'm not repeating that one. Most of the record labels own the copyrights and the music, not the artists. Yeah, there it is. So, so do the artists see any royalties? Like I said, I'm sure there's some kind of contractual obligations that they receive, a small percentage, but Bam Ozzy has joined us. Welcome to you. What we got? We were up to 24 viewers here a minute ago. I think that may be a record. Okay. Taking a video to maintain smooth. I'm just looking at some of my analytics here. Right now it says stream is healthy. As in, you guys can hear me and see me without any major lags or anything. Let's see. Where would they be without the artist? Nowhere. That's exactly the point. Bots. David Gabe keeps lobbying for more kazoo covers from me. Tell you what, I've got probably not going to get any more kazoo covers, but I got a thing or two in mind that I think you're going to get a kick out of here in the coming months. Bam Ozzy says, I thought some were having videos blocked, monetized or not. If a particular channel is not monetized, my understanding is that no. And the reason being is because if the channel's not monetized, there's no money on the line. So now, on a non-unmonetized channel, I think YouTube still has the option to run some ads, like post banners and stuff like that. They just don't run ads before and after. And now in that instance, that would be between the record label and YouTube, but an unmonetized channel, because there's no money going to the channel or the creator, that takes them out of the equation. And like I said, that entire headache lands on YouTube. That's the way I understand it anyway. Again, I'm not an expert on this by any means. Carlos has joined us. Carlos says, what's your job outside of YouTube, and how do you feel about Dean guitars? I don't think I've seen you play one or talk about them. My job outside of YouTube is actually pretty similar to what you see me do on YouTube. I sell gear for a living. I don't do it in a store, and that's about all that I'm going to say, because, if you dig, far enough, you can find out. But I do work for a fairly large MI corporation. Regarding Dean guitars, I like Dean guitars. I was a pretty big Dimebag fan when I was younger, which is obviously, that's probably what turned me on to Deans. I actually bought a cheaper Washburn. There that brief period that Dimebag was with, that he left Dean and went to Washburn. They came out with a signature line for him, of course, and one of the lower entry level models was called the 332, and those actually go for they've actually increased in value. I mean, it was like a $300 guitar or something, $250, $300. I remember I paid $250 for it, and that was 15 years ago, something like that. They've actually, value on them has increased up to around $300 or $400 just because of the Dimebag provenance. But I do have one of those, and years later, I also managed to acquire a Dean 10K commemorative Razorback. And you can sometimes, depending on the camera angle, you can sometimes see that one hanging on the wall behind me in a lot of my videos. I have used it a few times. I did a video a long time ago about different types of tremolo systems. Matter of fact, that video was so long I actually ended up splitting it up into two, and that guitar is actually featured in the thumbnail of one of those videos. So I have used it in videos a time or two. I don't pull it down very often. I do like the guitar. That's actually the only guitar that I own with a V-neck. I do really like it, and that's one of the harder Razorbacks to find nowadays. So I'm not going to get rid of it by any means, but the truth is the body on that thing is so big, in that tiny little room, and I got, tripods and mic stands and, cameras and guitars and stands and all that kind of stuff all over the place. It's kind of big and bulky to pull down. But I do use it occasionally. I just don't necessarily use it in videos. But no, I like Dean guitars. I think, unfortunately, their quality has kind of taken a step back or so in the last 10 years, since Dean, I don't know when Dean Zielinski sold it. I guess that's probably about 10, 15, maybe not since Dean sold it, but a little bit since then. Sometime after that. They still make good stuff. They still make real good stuff, but there's a lot of things they used to do. The dime guitars were at one time were much larger. Much larger line, and they seem to be built a little bit better, but maybe like I said, they're not bad. So after that long-winded answer, actually, it was like Carlos went on to answer, would you rather have a custom Dean built for you or another brand? Oh, if I were going to have somebody build me a custom guitar, I don't think Dean would be the company that I went to. So, as far as what company it would be, I'm not sure. All of my favorite guitar companies are now, all my favorite guitar companies, unfortunately, are not, have all taken a hit in quality here recently, between, Gibson, BC Rich, among others. So I've always wanted a Les Paul custom, and those damn things are so expensive, I've never been able to afford one, but, maybe one day. I'm a little far up in the chat here at the moment. Let me get caught up here. Hadley Scott McIntyre says, I like the Dean Cadillac. I like the Cadillac, and I like the Z. That's two guitars I actually would like to have, even imports. I wouldn't mind having a couple of those in my arsenal. Two guitars I've always liked, always wanted, always liked to have. I just never got around to getting one. Let's see. Joseph Denani says, any thoughts on the Megadeth compilation Warheads on Foreheads? Nope, but it's because I haven't seen it yet or heard it. I don't. I think I heard recently the Megadeth was getting ready to put a new record out, or they had something coming out recently, but I don't know. I didn't really look too much into it. Their last. I love Megadeth, you guys know that, but their last couple of records have been, not that they've been bad records, of course they haven't, but they've Dave Mustaine especially, he's gotten to the point in his career he's writing music for himself, and that's okay. I have no problems with that here. but you know, I mean, you can tell that they're definitely, music. It's definitely music that Dave's writing for, for his own enjoyment rather than, rather than for their fan base. And like I said, it's not that it's bad music. It hasn't been anything that's really resonated with me. I mean, it's not like the last album that they put out that I really liked was The World Needs a Hero. And then all the ones after that, like I said, just to be clear, not bad music. Just I didn't think they were great records. Let's see. Nothing new, not okay. David Gabe says he's not impressed with it. Razorback V, I've got such a hot and such a love-hate relationship with V guitars, man. They're they look cool. They're great for playing live, but man, they're like the most uncomfortable things in the world, to sit down and use in the studio. Those Razorbacks make it even worse. Let's see. Dave, woohoo, back home and on the PC. I didn't realize you were out. I guess I should have asked you before I just assigned you as the moderator. But, you're the one that spoke up and said, we need a moderator. So, I kind of thought that made you want to do it. Park Kingery said, didn't you use the Dean on your Tonewood video? That was the Washburn. That was the Washburn 332 that I used in that video. And, if you saw the follow-up video, you'll know that, if you saw that video, then you will know that it didn't matter what guitar I grabbed, as long as I had a humbucker in it. Scott Halley McIntyre says, what's a good inexpensive tablet? I need to get a DAW. There are some. I know that Cubase has a mobile version of their, it's a smaller version. They do have a version out specifically for mobile. If you buy I think I got mine with, I bought a Yamaha mixer, last summer, and I think they send it out with that comes a part of the Yamaha USB mixers. So, as far as getting a hold of the DAW, that might be an option. I've never had real good luck with Cubase. I mean, it always seems to conflict with something, because also with that Yamaha mixer also came the desktop version called, it was the AI, Cubase 10 AI, which is, it's not the full version. It's it's smaller than the full version, but it's still, if you're just beginning, it's got quite a few features in it. So I thought, especially for free, why not, we'll give it a shot. And of course, I couldn't get that to work either on my brand new computer. So I gave up and uninstalled it and started using Pro Tools and Studio One. But as far as an inexpensive tablet, like the Amazon Fire stuff is probably going to be your best bet. It's not going to be an iPad. Those are going to probably be your most expensive. And I'm sure the mobile, the mobile carriers are carrying, they've got stuff by LG and, all kinds of, there's all kinds of stuff out there nowadays. But, yeah, But regarding a DAW, what I discovered pretty quickly is, a desktop or laptop is the way to go, just because it's so much easier to navigate than it would be on a screen doing everything with my finger. Carlos says, "How's the V-neck? What would you compare it to?" A lot of the Clapton Strats have V-necks, and that's actually probably the first V-neck that I ever played. But it's kind of similar to that neck, but it's gonna be wider across the nut. But the actual back, the neck profile, it's interesting. If you've never played a V-neck, I mean, it's definitely a different feel. And that one's, the Dean is definitely a soft V. So I mean, it's not real crazy, but it is. You can definitely feel it's a V-neck. I like them. They're comfortable. It's a nice change of pace from the, wafer thin neck on my Schaefer, and my Schaefer, wafer thin neck on my Schecter, or my Music Man, or my BC Rich guitars. So Stephen Doherty says, "Just noticed, or think you're wearing an Iron Maiden top." Goldfish joke has a camouflage covered a bit, but yeah. Yeah, no, I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan. They are going to be playing about a mile that way. I had to look out the window to see which direction I'm facing. But they're playing about a mile that way here this summer. Me and David Hill. David Hill from the Practical Guitarist is talking about coming down with a buddy or two from his part of the world. And we're all gonna go see Maiden. I can't remember who's opening for him on this tour, but it'll be good. Pardon me. I think Dave's our guitar says, I think I would have to get with Grover Jackson for a custom guitar. I don't think you're going to go wrong there. Dave Friedman certainly had the right idea by employing Mr. Grover Jackson to build his guitars. At least design. I think he designed them and built the first ones. I don't know that he's building all of them, but they're Grover Jackson designed. Stephen Pitt says, "Chapman, I'm assuming you're asking me my opinion on Chapman guitars, and I'd like to. No, it's another one. Of course, you're a guitar nut like me. You want one of everything, but I really like the Ghost Fret. I really like the Ghost Fret model, the Explorer shape. I'd like to have one of those. I know those are. I think I got to play one, and I really liked it. So now they're building high-end British-made models. I don't know how those are selling for them yet, but yeah." Dave says, "My custom is going to be solar." They're not doing custom stuff yet, though, are they? Carlos says, "I just ordered a Z with a V-neck. That's why I asked those questions." Yeah, I don't know what kind of necks you're used to. V-necks are one of those things people seem to either love them or hate them. But you don't see too many of them nowadays, though. I mean, really, the only things I can think of that come with them, and even then, they don't all come with them. Like I said, the Clapton Strats and the some of the Deans Razorbacks. Well, apparently you got a Z on the way with one on it, but. Yeah, my first Hadley McIntyre says I never had a Les Paul till my buddy brought an Alpine White Epi Custom over and dropped on my lap for $180. It wasn't owned by a real player. My first Les Paul actually was my Epiphone Les Paul Custom Black Beauty, and I still have it. That was my very first Les Paul, and that's kind of what made me fall in love with Les Pauls. So, give me a minute here, folks. I am, and you guys are chatting like crazy, and normally I'm able to keep up with you, but not today. I'm going to get caught up here in the chat, which is normal. There's only 24 of you, and I don't know if all of you are even down in the chat right now. Let's see. David Gabe says, dude, you need more than a tablet for a decent DAW. That I agree with. That I agree with. PRS Rocker has contributed to the super chat. Thank you, Jim. For those of you that don't know, Jim is, I mentioned David Gabe earlier, is one of the hosts of the Practical Guitarist podcast. Well, Jim, aka PRS Rocker, is the other host. Jim has been kind enough to contribute to the super chat. Thank you, sir. You paid for my coffee this morning. Let's see. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so please avoid the mobile stuff for now. Yeah, and, it's, the mobile stuff, that's, mobile DAWs are not the easiest things in the world to, to use. You really need, I think you're going to find a much easier time, even using, like going like, GarageBand or something like that, or Reaper, on a laptop. So, even you can actually get a pretty inexpensive laptop and download Reaper for free and have a full, full-sized DAW, that'll do anything and everything you could possibly need it to do, plus a whole lot more. And like I said, Reaper's when you download Reaper, I think it's, you get like they give you like a 60-day evaluation, and then you'll get a notification that'll pop up like every 60 days, that says, what do you think of it? Do you want to buy it? And there's an option there that you can click still evaluating. I heard of somebody told me recently that they've been evaluating the same version of Reaper for 10 years now. I think after 10 years, I'd just pay because if you decide you want to buy it, I think it's like $60 one time. I would pay $60 just to get the notification to stop. But Bruce Dickinson played a Cadillac? I've never seen Bruce Dickinson play guitar, period. Let's see. 1.9 gigahertz doesn't seem like it's going to work. You guys are talking amongst yourself. No tablet and what computer? Hadley says, if not tablet, then what computer suggestion? Not Apple. I am streaming to you guys live right now on a PC, and this is probably something I should do a video on about how I built all this. But I am streaming to you on what is I bought a refurbished PC, Dell PC off of Amazon for $400, and this PC I got a Pentium iCore 7 processor, 16 gigabytes of RAM, It came with a 240 solid state hard drive, internal hard drive. I've got a couple of external hard drives that I already had, for additional storage. Let's see. HDMI, and I think it's got 5 or 6 USB 3.0. It's got quite a few specs on it. And again, for $400, I've had good luck with buying refurbished electronics, because somebody, refurbished means somebody has gone through it, made sure it's all working again, because make sure it's all working properly, because they never want to see it again. And it's running. Anytime I bought a new computer in my life, this one's performing. It's the first time I bought a refurb, but this one's performing as well as any other brand new computer I ever had, and I paid half. The first time I bought a computer for myself was 15 years or so ago, and I think I paid $1,500 for it. And for looking back, that was one of the worst purchases I've ever made. And that was back in 2003 or something like that. It was a Gateway, and I said it was one of the worst purchases of any kind I've ever made. And now I just spent $400 on this thing, and I couldn't be happier. Ran into a conflict or two here and there with software, which I suppose is to be expected, but everything functions properly. And I recommend, if you're looking to save money on a new computer, go that route. You can get refurbished laptops and stuff like that on Amazon as well. Surely you ought to be able to find something in your price range that's gonna be able to handle. You want to make sure and have something that's got plenty of processing power, for depending on the DAW that you're going to use. If you're going to use Reaper, on the other hand, though, Reaper is not very CPU. Doesn't really bog down CPU efficiency all that much. That's one of the attractions to it, is computers are able to run it. So I would look into that. I'm laughing at a comment from Dave R's Guitars. Let's see. I think Mile caught up. Jimmy Bitry. I couldn't pronounce your name earlier. I still don't know if I got it right or not. But, thoughts on late 80s, early 90s PV USA guitars? It depends on, they're hard to find. They're real hard to find. Honestly, I haven't seen one. Other than like the T-Series, the T-Series ones, the big, what I call the PV boat paddle series. Other than those, you see those all over the place. But God, a buddy of mine actually, he got a hold of pardon me, I think it was an Adrian Vandenberg signature that he got, that just happened to come his way in a trade. And that might be a little earlier than the wow, pardon me. That might, but the Vandenbergs, I can't remember when those were made. That seems like that might be a little bit earlier than the era that you're talking about. But all the USA PVs that I've ever played have all been great quality instruments. Let's not forget. The Wolfgangs. The history of the Wolfgang guitar, of course, started with Music Man, which they still make today in the form of the Axis. But of course, after that, I think that was only for the first year, and then he went to PV, and PV was making the Wolfgangs for a long time. And You know, they made them both in the U.S. and in Japan, and they're great guitars. Great guitars. Ever since he started EVH Guitars and started basically, you know, licensing Fender to build them for him, you know, I haven't seen too many of the PV ones out there anymore. You know, people kind of seem to be snatching those up. Dave R's Guitars mentions computers are not, I repeat, not appliances. 3 to 4 year lifespan. It's probably pretty accurate, to be honest. So, this one, you know, there's a couple of upgrades I need to put into it. I need to install another hard drive just because this one's just about full already. The internal one, anyway. And you know, I'm depending on cost, you know, I may bump it up to 32 gigs of RAM, but beyond that, I mean, I don't, you know, it ought to be able to hold up for, like I said, you know, about 3 or 4 years. I don't know. I tend to be able to squeeze. Last couple of computers I've had, I've squeezed 5 or 6 years out of them. I got a laptop. My old laptop was about that long before I got this one. So, could you guys hear that drum track that I was playing earlier? I'm kind of curious to know if anything that I stream through Pro Tools or anything I play through Pro Tools while I'm streaming video, if that translates to what you guys hear. Last week I went and watched back the rerun, if you will, and the only thing that I heard was, because I was plugged into the DAW and everything, you know, playing a virtual amp, and, you know, when I went back and listened to it, the only thing I could hear was this thing picking up the actual strumming of the strings of my guitar, you know, like I was playing it unplugged. So I'm kind of curious. No, this is a drum track that I created myself. Here, I'll play it again. I'll tell you what, let's have some fun here. I'm going to switch back to display capture. And we will go to Pro Tools. So you guys should theoretically be seeing what's on my screen, not me at the moment. Assuming that I'm doing this right. It looks like we are. Okay. So, yeah, this is just a drum track that I'm putting together for you know, it's a video that I want to do, that this one's kind of been on my plate for the last couple of months, but I just haven't. I want to make sure and do this one right. It's going to be a while before you guys see this because, you know, as I've admitted to you guys before, when it comes to audio, or, you know, when it comes to recording, I really kind of suck at this. And one thing I don't know the first thing about it all is mixing. And so I want to get all this recorded, and then this is going to be my guinea pig track. But yeah, here's a little bit of the drum track that I put together so far. Can you guys hear that okay? Can't hear it. Okay. That's what I need to know. Alrighty, so that tells me Okay, so what you guys heard was what was coming out of, teeny tiny little bit was coming out of the speakers, and the microphone was picking it up. So it wasn't streaming. All right, I got to figure out how to stream audio. Using audio in Discord, but Jimmy T said I had same experience with Pro Tools using audio in Discord. Hear mic, but no track from playback from Pro Tools. Okay, so sorry the top chat was so small. PRS Rocker says sorry the top chat was so small. You two gave me 2 free ones, and I was curious to see how much it was. Here's another for your second cup of coffee. Thanks, Jim. Oh, it says I can't give 2 to the same person. Yeah, well, it's the thought that counts, buddy. It's the thought that counts. Both of you guys have supported my channel vehemently here for the last couple of years. So I'm very grateful for both of you. You guys give me shout outs on your show all the time, and I couldn't be more grateful. So I'll buy the beer in June. I'm a cheap date, Jim. I don't drink, man. But I'm sure when June rolls around, I'll be ready for a burger. I'll let you buy me a burger. How about that? There's got to be, at least a decent burger up there in Fort Wayne. Somewhere. I got a couple friends up in Fort Wayne, so maybe they could. As a matter of fact, one of them actually works for Sweetwater, so he's one of the guitar buyers. I imagine he could probably point us in the right direction. Wow. Still 19 of you here. Wow. I think I saw it get all the way up to 25 at one point, which, like I said, I think was the record so far with these live streams. And I don't know. I'm having a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. Park says, I want to go to Gear Fest. That's actually what we're talking about. Gear Fest is at Sweetwater here in June, and I'm going to go up there and hang out with those guys. It's only about an hour and a half drive from me. So, by the way, while I'm thinking about it, there might not be a live stream. There's probably not going to be a live stream here next Sunday because the Indianapolis Guitar Show is next weekend on Sunday, and I am planning on going out there to make an appearance and see what's what. I just ordered a bunch of studio gear, so I'm not really in a position to spend any money, but I may take a guitar or two that that's collecting dust and see if I can't do some horse trading for something. That might be cool. Dave says lost 2 high E strings last night. Ball end unraveled. What kind of strings are you using, Dave? And if you say Ernie Balls, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't read you typing that. And if David Hill's watching right now, I'm sure he's got to be laughing his ass off at that comment. Dario XLs, thank you. Good. Me and David Hill have a running, kind of have a running rivalry right now over Ernie Ball strings and accessories. So. Well, Jim, he says, Jim says those are too high end and too expensive for that, and to reach out to the manufacturer. But he said Dario XLs, not NY XLs. I think he's probably talking about like the XL, like XL 120s. 110s, 120s. You know, their standard line. You know, I'm a guy that doesn't break guitar strings. Like I almost never break a guitar string. But D'Addarios I break for some reason. So, yep, I use I used nothing but Ernie Ball hybrids on most of my guitars. You know, just the regular hybrid Slinkies on most of my guitars for years. And you know, like lower tuned guitars, I would probably go to regular Slinkies, but nothing but Ernie Ball hybrids on everything. And here lately, I find myself going back to Super Slinkies, or the other thing I've tried recently that I'm surprised I'm actually enjoying is the Elixir, the polywebs for electric. So, you know, Elixir polywebs. I don't know what I got a bug in my ass for whatever reason to try them on an electric guitar because I never had, and so I put them on a couple of guitars, and surprisingly, I like them. So, well, I'll tell you what, fellas and lady. I think Janice took off earlier, but I know she was in here, and there might be some other ladies that are still watching. I'm not sure. We've been going here for upwards of 2 hours. So, what didn't you like about the elixirs, Jim? Felt like plain plastic. Yeah, the most people that play elixirs, they all, most of them seem to go nano web. And when I bought them, I bought like 3 sets. I'm sorry, I bought 3 sets of 3 sets of 9s and 3 sets of 10s, and and I kind of mixed and matched a little bit between the polywebs and the new OptiWebs. Because that's their latest coating. See you, Carlos. Have a good day, buddy. That's their newest coating, and so I kind of wanted to see what that was about. And because most people seem to go nanowebs, which is now nanowebs are kind of the in between, because the OptiWeb is OptiWeb doesn't feel like it's got any coating on it at all. It feels like regular guitar strings, just like regular guitar strings. So, I didn't, I never really cared for the nanowebs because at that time I thought they were a little smoother than regular strings, but not too much. So, but on acoustic I really liked the polywebs. So I decided to try them on electric. Just like I said, I never had, and actually found myself really liking them. So, the OptiWebs though I didn't care for. Those felt like playing like sliding my fingers on razor blades. So, and I still got another couple sets that I gotta go through, but oh well. Coated strings, man. So, alrighty. Well, I think I'm going to pack it in. I have promised Mrs. Jackson that I would go run a few errands here this afternoon. And, oh, come on, Jim. Take the PRS. Nobody, well, maybe, PRS are a lot cooler looking. You can go to any gig and see a telly. Yep. When in doubt, grab the purse. So, anyway, like I said, I promised Mrs. Jackson I would go out and run some errands here this afternoon. And hopefully, not hopefully, this will happen when I get done. Here tonight is none other than WrestleMania. So that is what the rest of my day will be consumed with, as I am also a wrestling geek, and this is the biggest night of the year for that industry. So, and I've paid my $9.99 a month for WWE Network, and I am going to take advantage of it. Anybody else watch WrestleMania? Hey, Park's watching WrestleMania. No, I haven't. I haven't seen, was it at the Hall of Fame ceremony? I haven't watched any of that yet. I plan on it. So I'm probably gonna try to watch that here today before the actual show starts. So yeah, Hall of Fame. Okay. Yep, I'll have to check that out. And I think Jim and Steven are talking amongst themselves. Well, Jim served our country for a long time, so I'm wondering if he hasn't already been to Scotland. Cool. All right, guys, I'm out. Thanks for joining me today. This one was a lot of fun. So, I, as always, enjoy hanging out with you. So, don't know that I will be doing this again next week unless I can find another time to squeeze it in. I don't know. We'll see. It may turn out that I get a new, that I've managed to swindle something, and not swindle, but I come home with a new toy from the guitar show next week, and I just decide to sit down and, hit go live and show you guys what I got. So, we'll see. So, thanks again for hanging out with me today, guys. We'll see you soon.